Welcome back to AM Northwest, here with science-based tips to help us be more productive. Please welcome back the author of the soon-to-be-released Captivate the Science of Succeeding with People, Vanessa Van Edward. So talk about how science can help us be more productive, because that's unusual.
Yeah, so I love science, I love research and hacks, and I had a very busy year writing the book and everything, and I was like, okay, if I had to use science to be more productive, what would I do? So I started researching, and there's some really interesting science. The first one is actually a hack that I figured out, and this...
A hack being a life tip.
Yeah, like a life tip, a little trick. Doing this upped my productivity by probably 60%. Are you ready for it?
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Set up 2 users on your computer. So the biggest problem that I had was my switching costs. So I would have a Word document open or my work open, and then I would just click over to Facebook or click over to my email, right?
Yeah.
Or like, oh, a little game of my virtual, tic-tac-toe.
Right.
So what I did is I set up a play user and a work user.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So on your work user, you have all the apps on the dock. You don't have any fun or play bookmarks.
So no distractions.
No distractions, and you can
That's
even
a
use
great
parental
idea.
control software on yourself. So setting up,
That's good.
Sometimes we need a little tough love.
I believe you me, when I start to research somebody, oftentimes I head down the rabbit hole and I wonder, how did I get down here?
And then hours later. So
Yeah.
and the nice thing also about having a play user is then you actually can purposely go and enjoy it.
Right.
Right, like have your favorite games, have your social networking sites, have the blogs you like, but
Right.
having them separate, it changed the game in terms of
Having
productivity.
2 users.
2 users,
Okay.
yes.
Also, you say nap right.
Okay, so napping, there's a lot of talk about the science of napping, so I wanted to break down how to nap right. And this depends on what you need from your nap. So we created a cool graphic. I don't know if they're gonna show it for us. Oh, thank you. So every different kind of nap produces different results. So if you want a little quick recharge, 10 to 20 minute power nap. If you want to get rid of grogginess, if you're feeling a little bit tired, you actually don't want to do a 10 to 20 minute power nap, you want to do a 30-minute nap. That helps with grogginess. If you are studying or trying to memorize things or figure things out, that's a 60-minute nap. That's going to help with that part of your brain that processes for memory. And then if you missed a night's sleep or you got very little sleep, you want a 90-minute REM cycle nap. So there's different kinds of naps, and you want to set your alarm for each of those things.
Oh, wow, that's really interesting.
And you also want to take in mind how long it takes you to fall asleep. So for example, if you set your timer for a 20-minute power nap, but you know that it takes you about 5 minutes of just calming down, set your timer for 25 minutes.
Okay,
yes, exactly.
That makes sense. You also create a break list.
So we are so good at working ourselves to death, and then we get to the burnout point where we're just like, ugh, I'm dead, I can't do anything. So what I want you to think about is, what can you do during your break? We often create to-do lists during the day, right? We think about all the things we want to achieve, but how can you recharge? So I want you to specifically think of activities that help reset you. So they're not zombie activities, they're resetting activities. So for example, I have a playlist on our YouTube channel, it's actually public, called Laughter Lunch. Because I found that if I work during lunch, I have a less productive afternoon. But if I...
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
So like if I'm working all the way through lunch, I get really groggy in the afternoon around 4. But if I find funny videos during lunch, somehow that recharges my brain where I have a much better afternoon. So
you go to your own YouTube channel.
Yes, so we have a public playlist called Laughter Lunch, which is all the funny videos I found on the web. There's like hundreds of them on there.
Right.
And people can go and watch it. I watch it myself as like a better form of recharging. So you have things to do during your break that are actually serving you for a better or more productive.
Now, what about getting up and just walking around?
Yes, so other things for your break list. Walking around, exercising, listening to peppy music, calling a friend, watching a funny video, playing a Sudoku game that uses your brain in a different way, getting your favorite latte.
Yeah.
Whatever is going to recharge you as opposed to keep you in zombie mode. I find that watching Netflix or watching TV, I just stay in that kind of so tired. It doesn't recharge me. So make sure you have a break list as well as a to-do list.
Self-talk.
Okay, so there was a study that was done by researchers that looked at thousands of people and how they achieve goals. And what they found is that the people who used self-talk for processing did better. So what I mean is, when we have self-talk and we want to get things done, we're usually saying, for example, my book, I was like, gotta get my book done, gotta get my chapter done by the end of the week. What's actually better is a process self-talk. So saying things like, I'm gonna be so effective in writing 1,000 words today.
Oh.
So instead of thinking of the long-term goal, you actually want to think of the goal as being successful in the process. It's sort of like the means, not the ends.
Right.
So if you want to lose 10 pounds, instead of saying, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 6 months, you're better, or hopefully not 6 months, maybe a month, you're better off saying, today I'm going to eat so healthy. That food is going to taste so good when I eat lunch. So the process self-talk is actually much more motivating than the end goal self-talk.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And it's taking it in pieces versus one big chunk, right?
I think that that's actually the trick here, is it's actually breaking down your what seems like a daunting goal into manageable chunks, and you're getting rewarded for just doing anything.
Right.
And that's the way it should be. It's hard to make healthy food choices. You know,
Right.
It's hard to make your way through cleaning the garage. But if you say, I'm going to really do well on the shelf right now, I'm going to be so good at sorting what needs to be given away, what needs to be thrown away, that's like a reward for what you're doing right now as opposed to a reward in the future.
And if you take one shelf at a time, you feel productive because you see your work being done.
Exactly. So focus on process, not just the end goal.
You talk about rhythms. Do we all have our own rhythm?
So what's interesting is that we all, and this is actually, they think it's genetic. People are morning people and night people, and they actually think that that's something that we were born with. It isn't just a choice. So you're better off knowing your rhythms for getting things done. For example, if you are working on a huge work project, when are you better at dealing with lots of information? When are you better at checking email? When are you better at doing phone calls? Like, I know that in my rhythms, I do really well writing in the morning, and I do much better with doing phone calls in the afternoon. So what I recommend is make a list of all the things you do, all the different skills you exercise in a day, and then write down what is your favorite time of day to do them, and start testing. If you do that in the morning, does it make you more productive or less productive? If you do it right before you go to bed, does it make you more productive or less productive? Because we all have different rhythms, and they are not the same for each person.
How do you know your rhythm? I mean, if you have a work schedule that has you up early, sometimes you just kind of get used to it, and maybe do you just assume that you're an early morning person, or?
It is like a muscle, so you can, force yourself to be a morning person if you have to be, but I would say it's more skill-based.
Okay.
So let's say that you have to get up for work early in the morning. What you do first thing, you have a little wiggle room in there. Like, is it the skill of checking and responding to email, or is it the skill of reading a report, or is it the skill of looking at analytics? So think about your skills as well as what you have to do. If that makes sense.
All right, Vanessa Van Edwards, Captivate, the science of succeeding with people. Thank you very much.
Thanks
Great
for
talking
having
with
me.
you.
Do you like this video? Amazing coincidence, because we like you too. Would you mind giving us some love by liking this video? Thank you, thank you, thank you.